Personal finance hacks. Learn from Elon Musk's success journey. Have you ever wondered if renting is throwing money away, or if buying a home is just a financial trap in disguise? A few years ago, a close friend of mine made what he thought was the ultimate adult decision. He bought a home. The excitement of having his name on the deed quickly turned into sleepless nights, rising property taxes, endless maintenance issues, and a ballooning mortgage left him questioning his decision. Meanwhile, another friend stayed in a cozy rental, traveling the world and saving for retirement. Two lives, two choices, but which one actually came out ahead? In this video, we're peeling back the layers of the housing market, uncovering the hidden truths behind renting, buying, and everything in between. You'll hear stories that might sound a lot like your own, backed by data and insights that challenge what you think you know. Stick with me because by the end, you'll have a clearer picture of whether you should rent, buy, or wait, and the tools to make the decision confidently. The housing market is one of the most dynamic sectors of the economy. It fluctuates based on interest rates, employment trends, and even cultural shifts. For instance, did you know that home ownership rates in the United States peaked at 69% in 2004, but have since settled closer to 65%? Source: US Census Bureau. These numbers might seem small, but they reflect millions of people deciding whether to rent or own a home. To make sense of this, you need to understand one fundamental truth. The housing market doesn't just affect where you live, it influences your financial future. Whether you're paying rent or building equity, each path carries its own risks and rewards. Let's dive into why buying a home feels like an emotional milestone. For decades, society has tied home ownership to success and stability. Remember those advertisements from the 1950s showing a happy family in front of a white picket fence house? That image stuck, and it's still driving decisions today. But here's the catch. Emotions can cloud financial judgment. People often overextend their budgets, chasing the dream of owning a forever home. What if that dream isn't financially sustainable? Now let's get to the numbers. Renting can seem like throwing money away, but is it really? Consider this. If you rent a $1 500-month apartment and invest the difference you'd spend on a $2,500 mortgage, you could potentially grow your wealth faster than through homeownership. Take Jane, for example. She chose to rent and invested $500/month into an index fund, earning 8% annually. Over 10 years, that $500 grew into nearly $91,000. Meanwhile, her friend Mark bought a house and spent $10,000 on property taxes, $15,000 on maintenance, and $5,000 on unexpected repairs. While Mark did build equity, his total financial gain was less impressive than Jane's. When people think of buying a home, they often focus on the down payment and monthly mortgage. But what about the hidden costs? According to the National Association of Realtors, homeowners spend an average of 4% of a home's value on annual maintenance. For a $300,000 house, that's $3,000, $12,000 every year. And then there's property tax. In states like New Jersey, annual property taxes can exceed $8,000 on a median-priced home. Factor in homeowners' insurance and utilities, and suddenly, that affordable mortgage isn't so affordable. Here's a controversial statement. Buying a home is not always a good investment. Many believe that real estate values always go up, but history tells a different story. Between 2006 and 2012, during the Great Recession, U.S. home prices fell by nearly 30%. Source: Federal Housing Finance Agency. Compare this to stock market returns over the same period, which rebounded much faster. While real estate can be a stable investment, it's not immune to market downturns. Let's dive back into our discussion. When we left off, we were exploring how the intricate system of leveraging debt has been used globally to create wealth and power. Now let's break it down further and dig deeper into practical examples and strategies that you can apply in your own life. The power of leveraging debt for investments. Let's talk about an undeniable fact. Debt, when used strategically, can multiply your wealth exponentially. Imagine this. You borrow $500,000 from the bank at a 4% annual interest rate to invest in real estate. You use this money to buy a property in an up-and-coming area that appreciates by 10% every year. After 1 year, the value of the property is $550,000. Subtract the $20,000 you paid in interest, and you've made a $30,000 profit on money that wasn't even yours to begin with. Now, compare this to someone who saves up that $500,000 in cash over 10 years to buy the same property outright. By the time they have the money, the property might cost $800,000 due to inflation and market growth, meaning they've lost both time and the opportunity to leverage that property's increasing value. Here's the takeaway. Borrowing money can accelerate your path to wealth if you invest wisely. It's about playing the long game with calculated risks. Why the rich borrow more than the poor? Ever notice that millionaires and billionaires are often in debt? Not the type of debt that keeps you awake at night, but the kind that works for them. This is called good debt. Good debt is money borrowed to invest in appreciating assets, like real estate, stocks, or businesses. In contrast, bad debt is money spent on depreciating items like cars, gadgets, or luxury goods that lose value the moment you buy them. Let's put it into perspective. The average person might use a credit card to buy a flat-screen TV, while a wealthy person uses a business loan to start a company that eventually pays for 100 flat-screen TVs. This is the stark difference in how debt is perceived and utilized. How governments leverage debt. If you're still skeptical about using debt, look at governments around the world. Most of them are heavily in debt, yet they continue to function and even thrive. The US government, for instance, has a national debt of over $30 trillion, yet it's considered one of the most powerful economies in the world. Why? Because they leverage debt to build infrastructure, fund innovation, and stimulate economic growth. Let's break it down with an example. When a government issues bonds, they're essentially borrowing money from citizens, banks, and foreign countries. They then invest this money into projects like roads, schools, and energy grids, which improve the economy and create jobs. The increased tax revenue from these activities eventually helps pay off the debt, creating a cycle of growth. So if entire nations can leverage debt to build empires, why can't you use it to build your financial future? The snowball effect of compound interest. Here's another concept that works hand in hand with leveraging debt: compound interest. While most people associate it with savings accounts, compound interest can also work in your favor when investing borrowed money. Let's say you take out a $100,000 loan at 5% interest and invest it in a mutual fund that yields an average return of 12% per year. After 1 year, your investment grows to $112,000. Subtract the $5,000 in interest, and you're left with $7,000 in profit. If you reinvest the profit and continue this cycle for 10 years, your returns will compound, creating a snowball effect that can turn a 6-figure loan into a 7-figure portfolio. Rhetorical pause. What's holding you back? So here's the million-dollar question. What's stopping you from using debt as a tool for financial growth? Is it fear of risk, lack of knowledge, or maybe you've been taught that debt is inherently bad? The truth is, the real risk lies in doing nothing. In a world where inflation erodes your savings and opportunities pass you by, staying stagnant is the greatest danger of all. Strategies for safe and effective debt management. To make this work, you need a plan. Here are some tips for managing debt effectively. Know your numbers. Understand the interest rates, repayment terms, and potential returns on your investments. Diversify your investments. Don't put all your borrowed money into one asset. Spread it across different opportunities to minimize risk. Build an emergency fund. Always have a financial cushion to cover unexpected expenses or downturns in your investments. Seek professional advice. Consult with financial advisors to create a debt strategy tailored to your goals. Start small. Begin with a manageable amount of debt and scale up as you gain experience and confidence. The debt-inflation connection. Here's a fascinating fact. Inflation can actually make your debt less expensive over time. Imagine you borrow $100,000 today and inflation rises by 3% annually. In 10 years, the real value of that $100,000 will be significantly lower, meaning you're effectively paying back less than you borrowed in terms of purchasing power. This is one reason why many wealthy individuals and corporations borrow large sums of money during periods of low interest rates and high inflation. They know that time is on their side. Shifting your mindset about debt. To succeed financially, you must change your perception of debt. Most people grow up being told, avoid debt at all costs, or debt is a trap. While this may be true for certain types of consumer debt, adopting a growth mindset can help you see debt as an opportunity rather than a burden. Here's how to reframe your thinking. Think like an investor, not a consumer. Investors view debt as a tool to multiply wealth. Instead of asking, how much will this loan cost me? Ask, how much more can I earn by using this loan strategically? For example, borrowing to invest in real estate, a franchise, or a scalable online business has a much higher return than spending on a luxury vacation. Understand the cost of inaction. Fear of debt can paralyze decision-making, but not acting is often more expensive than taking calculated risks. If you wait until you have the perfect amount of savings to start a business or buy property, you might lose out on years of compound growth and inflation-driven asset appreciation. Learn to differentiate good debt from bad debt. Not all debt is created equal. Good debt builds assets, generates income, or appreciates in value over time. Bad debt, like credit cards maxed out for luxury items, only drains your finances without any return. Success stories. Ordinary people who leverage debt. Let's explore real-world examples of individuals and businesses that use debt strategically to achieve remarkable success. 1. Elon Musk, betting big on Tesla and SpaceX. Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, famously took on personal debt during Tesla's early days. He invested millions of borrowed dollars into the company when it was on the verge of collapse. The risk paid off when Tesla went public and became a trillion-dollar company, making Musk a billionaire many times over. 2. Robert Kiyosaki, The Power of Real Estate. Author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki built his wealth by leveraging real estate. He borrowed money to buy income-generating rental properties. The cash flow from his tenants not only covered his loan repayments but also provided him with profit. Over time, the properties appreciated, multiplying his wealth. 3. Sarah Blakely, Spanx founder. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, didn't have a huge savings account to start her business. Instead, she used a small amount of borrowed money to patent her first product and create prototypes. Today, Spanx is a billion-dollar brand. The role of financial literacy in managing debt. One of the key differences between those who succeed with debt and those who struggle is financial literacy. Educating yourself about how debt works, the importance of credit scores, and how to evaluate investments will put you miles ahead. Here are some key concepts to master. Interest rates. Understand the difference between simple and compound interest. A lower interest rate on a long-term loan can save you thousands of dollars. Credit scores. A high credit score gives you access to better borrowing terms, lower interest rates, and more financial flexibility. Pay your bills on time, keep your credit utilization low, and avoid unnecessary hard inquiries. Debt-to-income ratio. Lenders use this ratio to assess your ability to repay loans. Keeping your debt-to-income ratio under 36% is ideal for securing favorable loan terms. Leverage ratios. Learn how much debt you can comfortably take on without jeopardizing your financial stability. Over-leveraging can lead to financial distress, while under-leveraging might limit your growth potential. The importance of cash flow. Cash flow is the lifeblood of any debt strategy. Without consistent cash flow, it becomes difficult to service debt and maintain financial stability. Here are some tips for ensuring positive cash flow. Invest in income-producing assets. Whether it's real estate, dividend stocks, or businesses, prioritize investments that generate regular cash flow. Budget for debt payments. Factor in your loan repayments as fixed expenses in your budget to avoid missed payments and penalties. Create multiple income streams. Diversify your sources of income to reduce reliance on any single stream. Side hustles, freelancing, or passive income can supplement your primary earnings. The long-term benefits of leveraging debt. When managed correctly, debt can unlock opportunities you never thought possible. Here are some long-term benefits of leveraging debt. Accelerated wealth building. Borrowing to invest allows you to acquire assets faster than if you relied solely on savings. This acceleration is especially valuable in markets with high growth potential, such as real estate and technology. Tax advantages. In many countries, interest paid on loans for business or investment purposes is tax deductible. This reduces your overall tax burden and increases your profitability. Hedge against inflation. Borrowing during periods of low interest rates and high inflation allows you to repay loans with money that's worth less over time, effectively reducing your real debt burden. Financial flexibility. Having access to credit gives you the flexibility to seize opportunities as they arise, whether it's a new investment, business expansion, or emergency funding. 1. Leveraging debt for real estate investments. Real estate is one of the most common and effective ways to use debt to build wealth. Steps to get started. Research your market. Identify locations with strong demand, infrastructure development, or rising property values. Focus on properties that generate rental income or have potential for appreciation. Secure financing. Mortgage loans. Use a conventional mortgage or an FHA loan, if available in your region, with a manageable down payment. Home equity loans. If you own property, leverage its equity to purchase additional properties. Private lenders. Partner with private investors willing to provide funding for real estate projects. Analyze the numbers. Calculate the cash-on-cash return, which measures how much rental income you'll receive compared to your initial investment. Use the 1% rule. A property should generate at least 1% of its purchase price in monthly rent to be worth considering. Start small. Buy a single-family home, duplex, or small apartment building as your first investment. Rent out rooms or units to cover mortgage payments and generate profit. Expand your portfolio. Reinvest rental income into purchasing additional properties. Consider refinancing your properties to access equity and fund further investments. Example: you buy a $200,000 property with a 20% down payment, $40,000, and finance the rest with a mortgage. Monthly rent is $1,800, and your total expenses, mortgage, insurance, maintenance, are $1,200. This gives you $600/month in cash flow while the property appreciates over time. Maintain financial discipline. Stick to a budget. Prioritize paying off high-interest debt first, and ensure you're not over-leveraged. By leveraging debt responsibly, you can unlock opportunities for growth, increase your earning power, and achieve your financial goals without being weighed down by excessive liabilities. Take charge of your financial future. Debt doesn't have to be a burden. It can be a stepping stone to achieving your financial dreams if managed wisely. By understanding how to use it effectively, you can turn financial challenges into opportunities for growth. Remember, the key to success is knowledge, planning, and discipline. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful tips on personal finance, wealth building, small business entrepreneur, and smart money management. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, and let's keep growing together. Your journey to financial freedom starts here. Thank you for watching, and see you in the